Hello everyone, my name is Marc Alt.
And I'm Jill Fehrenbacher, and we're the organizers of the Greener Gadgets Conference.
Thank you all for coming and spending the day with us. We're really excited to see so many people so passionate about this topic of sustainability and green design and consumer electronics. We have a sellout crowd and quite a waiting list actually, so the interest in this conference has been tremendous and it's very gratifying to us.
So one of the first questions that we started to get asked when we first announced this conference is, why exactly are you doing this? And why is it called Greener Gadgets rather than Green Gadgets? So we'd like to run through a couple statistics right now just to highlight what we think are some of the most important issues in terms of environmental sustainability within consumer electronics and why we think this is such a compelling issue to talk about right now.
So e-waste is an increasingly becoming a global environmental concern. It's estimated that up to 400 million gadgets are scrapped each year. In this country alone, 150,000 computers are discarded each day. E-waste is the fastest growing category of municipal waste in this country.
And when these gadgets end up in landfill, many of them are filled with toxic chemicals such as mercury, cadmium, lead, PVC, and fire retardant bromides. And not only do these leach into the soil and wreak environmental havoc, but they also cause a lot of health problems in developing countries where often a lot of consumer electronics kind of meet their final resting place in places such as Nigeria and China. And this is actually a photograph from a nonprofit organization called the Basel Action Network. And this is a nonprofit group that's dedicated to documenting and investigating this issue of e-waste getting dumped in developing countries. But e-waste is not the only environmental concern when it comes to consumer electronics. An equally important issue is the growing amount of energy that personal electronics consume in our day-to-day lives. Now this statistic here really highlights that for us, and that's electronics are responsible for more than 25% of home energy use.
And the consumer electronics industry is a $150 billion industry and is still growing rapidly. And increasingly, the production of this industry is having a large impact on the state of the environment. So here's a quick overview of the day we have in store for you guys. We are starting off with we're very honored to have Chris Jordan, a very well-noted environmental photographer and artist, doing our opening keynote. He'll be followed by Mary Lou Jepson, who is one of the minds behind the One Laptop Per Child project, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. Then that will be followed by a panel discussion looking at materials, life cycle, and recycling. We're going to break for lunch in the exhibit space, which will be open. And you can see some of the exhibitors that we have joining us today. After lunch, we'll have a technology keynote from Hewlett-Packard, and two panels back-to-back after that. Electronics and energy efficiency, and then a look at how renewable energy is being incorporated into this discussion. The closing keynote is another innovator and visionary, Natalie Jeremijenko. And at the end of the day, we're culminating with the Greener Gadgets Design Competition, which has been graciously moderated and organized by Alan Chochnoff of Core 77.
The issue of environmental sustainability in gadgets is such a complex and complicated issue that we really wanted to break it down into different component parts in order to make it easier to understand and also easier to discuss in our event today. So the three categories that we decided to focus on in terms of consumer electronics environmental sustainability are materials and life cycle, energy, and social sustainability. And by social sustainability, what we really mean is pretty much everything outside of, all the human elements outside of just environmental footprint, such as economic viability, the political impact that something has, and the cultural impact that a gadget has. So that's it. We hope that you enjoyed the day. And without further ado, we're going to announce the first keynote that we have here today, and that is Chris Jordan.